All right, so I'm going to go over the writing process with you, and some things you'll need to know as you go on writing your narrative for this week. And really, you can use this in any class, whether it be history or your English is down the road, or maybe even in science or an elective. All right, so the writing process contains pre-writing and planning. And in that, you're just generating ideas, um, developing topics and things that you want to talk about, and all that kind of stuff. Next, you have drafting. This is where you add and develop your ideas, organize your ideas into parts and paragraphs, and how you're going to, what your purpose is going to be, how you're going to present that to your audience, your sentence fluency, all that good stuff. Next, you're going to have revising. And your draft is when you're actually just writing out your ideas now. This doesn't mean it has to be your typed essay. This is just when you're writing, kind of like an outline, I guess you could say. Your revising is when you're adding and deleting, developing the things that you want to talk about more. So you're going into that draft and taking out things that are not important and putting in things to make it better. This is something that I've noticed in a lot of your writing already, that you're not going back and editing. You're not going back and looking over it. And that is something that you need to do to make sure that you have no problems in your essay. You don't have any grammatical problems or spelling errors. And in class, if you were writing this, I would look over grammatical errors. But when typing, most of the time when you're typing, it'll give you like a red underline in Word, or it will let you know in some way that you've misspelled a word. So there's no reason for that. And then the final step would be publishing. All right, so your thesis statement, even in narrative essays, you have to have a thesis statement, what it is you're talking about. This is the sentence that states the main idea of writing, and it's the last sentence of your first paragraph. And there's three main parts to the thesis statement: the limited subject, the precise opinion, and the blueprint of reasons. So if I'm asking you to write an essay on, let's say, 9/11, and I'm asking you to research 9/11, maybe interview someone that was alive during that time, your three main parts is going to be the limited subject, that would be 9/11, the precise opinion, that means the view of the subject that you're talking about, and the reasons behind it. And lastly, you have here your essay outline. And again, this is available for you in Schoology to click through at your own pace. So your first paragraph, you're going to start with a hook. This is not going to be a question, and that's what I've noticed in a lot of freshmen. You want to start off your essay with, if I ask again, if let's say we're still on 9/11, I wasn't born during 9/11, were you? This is not a hook. You're not expecting me to answer back. So don't ever ask questions as a hook in my class. Some teachers may approve of it, but I do not. It is, to me, it is redundant, it's unneeded. So let's not do it. Your hook is going to be an interesting fact or statistics, something like that you can put in there to get your audience's attention, and your audience is me in this class, so you need to grab my attention. And then you're going to provide a background of that context or topic. So let's go along with that 9/11 topic. We're saying your hook is going to be I wasn't born during 9/11, but my mom was there. And she was in high school, period. Then you're going to give me background. September 11th, 2001 was the day that the World Trade Center was attacked by terrorists that hijacked 2 planes that flew into the buildings. You're going to go on with that for a minute, and then you're identify the question or the thesis, and you're gonna, in my class, we're gonna identify the thesis. Usually in like science, you might have a question or a hypothesis, but in here we have a thesis in English. So we're gonna identify what our thesis is, and that's what we just went back. We went over back on the last slide. So sometimes I will have you write 5 or 6 paragraph essays. Usually they're going to be 5, sometimes 3. So you'll see that later in the instructions. But in this one, we have 6 paragraphs, and it doesn't matter how many body paragraphs you have, they should go the same way. You should have your fact and evidence, and then an analysis, or what that means. How does that fact and evidence contribute to what you're saying? And so you'll do that for your body paragraphs, whether it be 1, 2, or 3, or 4. And then for your final paragraph, you're going to summarize your thesis, discuss the big picture. The larger significance means the big picture, and reveal any unanswered questions. That means reveal anything that you've learned throughout this essay, throughout researching and things like that.